Hi everyone and welcome to Charles and Ellen YouTube channel. After the first video I did about how to embroider a sky Van Gogh inspired, some of you asked me how I make a gradient in embroidery. I thought it was the perfect moment to answer to you to this question, as I was embroidering this pattern of Santorini in Greece. I rather like to show you an example directly on the work in progress I'm doing, instead of showing you directly with just a rectangle or something a bit boring. As you can see here, from the sea to the top of my sky, it will be a nice gradient. I will show you two techniques today that you can do a gradient, one with a multicolor thread and the other one with just several colors of thread. You will of course choose what suits you the best. I really want to give you choices. Also, I will give you two possible stitches where you can do it too. It all depends of your preference. Let's go directly into the video. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and like our video. We are also on Instagram, Charles Henry and Petronella.art, and if you want more information about us, just go on charlesandellen.com. We have also an awesome academy with great masterclasses that you can find on charlesandellenacademy.com. Happy stitching! To start my gradient, I want to find a blue similar to the one I used for the water, so that the colors can blend smoothly together. I use the multicolor threads 1 to 1. The purpose of this technique is to cut your thread to the level of blue that is similar to your basic color where you want to start embroidering. I will start horizontally from the darkest and gradually climb to the light blue. I cut from the blue that corresponds. I cut the light blue end of my choice. For threads that you don't use, keep them simply aside for another piece. I use 3 strands for all the sky to not make a big contrast between the sky and the architecture. For this technique, I will show you 2 different stitches. We will use the back stitch first. I personally find the back stitch interesting for the accuracy of my line. The only weak point is that you use more thread. The second technique that I suggest is the split stitch, which I think is more suitable for this piece. I show you both that you can make your own choice. As you embroider, you must carefully observe the blue levels. As soon as your blue becomes a lighter step, climb up a line. When you get almost the level of blue you want, be careful to stop your thread at the right time. Tie your thread behind by attaching it with the other threads and not the fabric. Keep a piece of blue that you cut. It's time to take your thread collection to find a similar blue for the surface you want to fill. I select several threads that interest me. I compare the two blue chosen and select the most appropriate. You can see that the blue blends perfectly with the beginning of the gradient. I will now continue my filling up to the sun before continuing to a lighter gradient. Same process for the left side. Cut the desired gradient with your multicolor threads and start embroidering the large surface with your main blue. I have now filled my surface upwards. You can see some straight stitch or even running stitch that I embroider around every 2 stitches to make a melted effect for the gradient. I select 2 other lighter blue for the top of my piece. We start here the second technique with a split stitch. I will fill the empty surface with my lighter blue using split stitch. I will continue my filling a few more lines to switch to a brighter blue. If you stay until the end of the video, I will show you how to soften the gradient of the bottom side of the blue to make a transition less harsh. Now that my desired area is finished, I start to place straight stitch every 2 stitches pretty much. I don't really look exactly where I place them. As I often explain you, I prefer to work my inner sense and the observation instead of set defined rules. Vary the length of your stitches to create a more spontaneous and uncontrolled effect, a bit like painting. Now I reproduce exactly the same procedure with a lighter blue to finalize my gradient. Et voilà! Now that you have a global vision, you can add some touches of blue with a straight stitch to make your gradient a little bit smoother. I'm going to use my middle blue to make some splashes of color towards the dark. The transition is a bit too strong for my taste. This will allow the eye to suggest an illusion of a finer gradient. Sometimes to give an impression of realism, you can simply suggest the eye with some repetitions of line. The brain will print that as a more realistic piece. That is exactly the same principle we use in drawing and sketching, for example. Thank you everyone to have watched until the end. I hope you found this tutorial useful. Don't hesitate to ask a question in the comment section. If you can drop us a like or subscribe to our channel, we would love it. Thank you everyone and see you next week for a new video.